Welcome to Spiritual Wisdom Weekly from the Greater Orlando Center for Spiritual Living. Practical spiritual insights to help you live a more joyful, empowered, and grounded life.
Something wonderful is happening in my life now. Reverend Cindy.
Yeah, this is really an interesting time of year. The arrow of time, at least as far as we know, moves in a single direction. Now, I disputed that fact in a university class, and my professor was not very supportive of my ideas that time could flow in both directions. So I'm going to go with the accepted idea, it only goes one direction. Yet within that singular appearance of one-directional movement, humankind detected from very early on that we have these repeating cycles going on. Days repeat the rising and the setting of celestial bodies. The seasons come when the temperatures go lower and when they go higher, when the rains are more or the rains are less. Many attributed these cycles to higher powers, gods, possibly capricious gods who would change the rhythm if they so desired and had to be appeased with a lot of, hopefully not sacrifice, but a lot of praise and celebration and ritual to keep them appeased and keeping things in the normal rhythm so that we could count on getting the planting and the growing and the harvesting and things done to get us through the winter or the dry season or the fallow times. But even then, there were always those that tracked and measured and recorded the observations they were making. Sometimes these were the priests or the priestesses, the shamans or the medicine women who actually were responsible for carrying on the myths while also making them seem more real by actually understanding some of what underlay them. But eventually it became common knowledge that these repeating and predictable cycles existed. Scientific exploration and the development of additional instruments that extended our five senses out so that we could see up into the cosmos and down into the atoms, those showed us that this pattern exists at all levels. Planets and moons circle central bodies. Even the comets have repeating paths. Galaxies spin in clusters. Atoms are modeled the same way. They have the nucleus and the electrons going around them. So this, for me, this common circular pattern is proof, one of the proofs, that we are not designed out of chaos, that we come from a plan. And it is not surprising that these patterns within time exist. Days get longer and shorter, temperatures warm and cool. The universe has these patterns. But then, in the midst of all this nice cycling pattern, there's this arrow of time. And one of the tools we have developed to kind of meld these concepts together, the centralness of cycles and the movement of time, is the new year. In a circle, endings and beginnings are actually very arbitrary, right? We just say, here it is, this is the start, this is the finish. We do that at the racetrack or wherever. They don't really exist, so we mark the spot by calling it a beginning. In the Western calendar, that spot is even detached from things like the lunar cycle, which does control calendars in some cultures. And actually, there are some things on our calendar, like Easter, that are attuned to more celestial cycles. But here, December 31, midnight, 1 year ends, the next second, the next year begins. To be efficient, we don't make up new names for everything as these cycles repeat, right? So we've got the same days with the same names and the same weeks, making up the same months with the same names in the same order. We change one little thing. The end of the year changes 1 year at a time. Sometimes that's just one digit. Every 10 years, it's 2 digits. Every now and then, it's 3 digits. Oh, 1999 became 2004 digits change. Wow. So the count moves up, and that's kind of how so the racetrack stays still and the ring stays still, but the cycles are attached to time. So the cycles are going on, but they're moving, okay? So this time of year is our signal to focus on the fact that nothing in our lives must stay the same. When that sentence first came out and hit the paper, I had a really strong reaction to it. I was like, now, wait a minute. I thought I only want to talk about changing the things we don't want into the things that we do want, or leaving behind in a burning bowl and claiming new in a white stone ceremony. Because, there's always this underlying immutable law and love of spirit. We're always an unchangeably perfect creations of a perfect creator. That is capital T truth. That doesn't change. And within that truth, our free will allows us to use that unchanging law to accept wonderful good into our lives, or to fall out of alignment and experience our own version of hell, or at least the doorstep. So again, nothing in our felt experience of our lives, and our felt experience is our little r reality. It's what we are actually thinking life is. Nothing in that must stay the same. But we might get to choose. Obviously, we can choose. Sometimes we choose not to choose, and that's a whole nother talk. But we get to choose whether we're going to get a better experience, stay more aligned with our desires, or we're going to have a worse experience, more out of alignment from our good. And that's what kind of hit me. It's nothing must stay the same. We can make it worse, so we ought to get busy trying to make sure it's better. Now, there is no real difference in our opportunity to change from one moment to the next. The song this morning, it's a new day. That's always true. It's a new moment, always true. There's really just any moment to get that new slate, clean slate to write on. They are all opportunities to shift our experience. Every moment as it goes by is a chance to shift. The only difference at the new year is our attention and focus. There are news articles and TV shows and TikToks and Instagrams and Facebook posts and ceremonies and rituals at your spiritual center, all encouraging us to choose right now to make some changes. Now, if gathering two or more together is powerful, and we know it is, think how powerful the momentum of all of this focus on making changes right now is. So that's why we really put some effort into it, because there's something powerful afoot at this time of year to really get behind the idea of change. And we're going to have one of these rituals nearer the end of the service, and it's a wonderful experiential way to kind of anchor our intentions for the next year. But I want to use a little bit of this time, which we call in the bulletin the lesson, to address the practical steps that go with this. I mentioned this Wednesday night class. It's called Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life. When I started in Science of Mind in 1984, that was the catchphrase on the cover of every Science of Mind magazine. It was there at least into the late 90s. I'm not sure when they took it away. I don't know exactly when they put it on. It might have been there since 1927. And I don't know why they took it away, because it so encapsulates what we're teaching here. Change your thinking, change your life. In biblical terms, that would be, it shall be as we believe. And if we want to change how it be, we got to change what we believe. Changing our thinking sounds so easy, right? Just simple. Change your thinking. Have you noticed it's not as easy as it sounds? It might be, maybe even, harder to do than to keep your New Year's resolutions. Most of us have probably stopped even making resolutions. We know ourselves. We know that it is challenging to change in our patterns and habits, right? Those are tough. They're ingrained. Changing our thinking to change our experience takes the same things that it takes to change anything. Decide what you're working on, make a plan, and here are some ways to support the plan. Hang out with people who are on the same path. They may be further ahead than you, and they can guide you. You may walk further down the path than others, and you can help guide them, but it's all a big, wonderful mix. Consider this community your new like-minded friends resource pool. Strengthen your skills. Consider GoCSO your spiritual muscle gym. come here to strengthen the spiritual muscle. Educate yourself. It seems like it's breathy. Educate yourself in the discipline that you want to improve. We are here every Sunday with information, and the 2 classes starting the week are just the beginning of an ongoing program that's going to go on throughout the year. Use our prayer resources. Our practitioners are highly trained. I'm talking years of study and practice. Highly trained in seeing truth when you can't. You can get a quick fix in a 1-minute blessing up here after service. You can make a confidential prayer request, either in the box they're going to pick up and show you in a little while, or go online, go csl.org, prayer requests. And the whole team works on those requests. And you can ask any of them, and their names are on the back of your bulletin every week, week in and week out. All the practitioners are listed. You can ask any of them for personal sessions to support change in your life, because they have a clear belief about you. They have spent time getting all their stuff out of the way so they see truth for others. And it is sometimes really difficult to know the truth of ourselves. We get so tied up in the appearances and the activity and the dealing with. The really important thing is to set your intentions and then support them from all directions. Spirit is always waiting to rush into a really well-set intention. Your good is always available in its entirety. It was given to you at your creation and cannot be taken away. Your good is yours. The only thing that gets in the way is what happens when we get turned to the outer experiences. We get focused on what's going on here, and that puts this veil between us and our true selves. We let fear seep in and take the place of our faith. We let others overwhelm our own inner knowing with their opinions. And we all know that there are peddlers of fear and opinion all over with all kinds of avenues to get to us. We have to choose our inputs to align them with our desire to experience the highest and best life possible. That's up to us to find the right inputs, because if we get murky and veiled, we've got to have some clear water to make that come clear. And you just keep dripping it in there. And if you get lucky, you find the avenues that help you pour it in big pitchers full of clearness into that and keep you clean and clear on your desire and your truth of who you are, blessed child of God. This isn't new information, and it's just applicable to your spirit. It isn't just applicable to your spiritual life, right? But this base formula that's available all over the place is most important when you apply it into your spiritual life. That's where your core beliefs are. That's what everything else comes from. Your spiritual comfort and wholeness is what leads every other aspect of your life. What you believe is what you're drawing into your life. And what is going on in your consciousness is hard enough. We just were talking about that. And then there's the great subconscious. And in that are all your automatic reactions, your filters, your memories, the emotions you're attaching to things, the feelings that come up, the meanings you attach. All of that is in the subconscious. All of it is play in how you're manifesting in every moment. So it does take effort. But the effort is well worth it in the ease that comes from it. So this year, choose to experience the very best year ever. Very similar to the affirmation. Because you have become the best expression of your true self. Now, GoCSL is delighted to support you in that choice. We're going to take all the steps we can to be here and help that choice happen. You've got a lot of other resources too. We're not trying to take over and be the only thing, but we would like to be an important part of that. We'll take a step in that direction with the White Stone ceremony after this short break for expressing gratitude for our financial and volunteer abundance. Namaste.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of Spiritual Wisdom Weekly. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform, follow us on social media at Greater Orlando Center for Spiritual Living, and support our work, including this podcast, at gocsl.org. Until next time, take good care and keep growing in spirit.